Welcome, Pulp Picks, and welcome to another week of Pulp Picks. I'm Corey.
I'm Fritz.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Patrick.
And Fritz, take us off.
You do this on purpose, I swear.
Yeah, I do.
Anyways, my pick of the week is Star Wars Obi-Wan issue 2. Considering it's kind of a Obi-Wan looking back through time, doing his greatest hits retrospective of his life. I mean, it's a lot of sad stuff, but that's also kind of what Obi-Wan's life is. If you saw the recent Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus, you'd probably agree. Dude goes through a lot of stuff in his time. But this it's a nice little flashback to his time as Qui-Gon's apprentice, having to realize that sometimes the obvious answer isn't the right one. You gotta be a little unorthodox and just kind of expand your horizons. It's a lot of fun. There's also a nice call back to Star Wars Rebels in here, so if you're a fan of that show, that's great. Ooh. But no, real fun issue all around. Nice one and done story. Over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, sure. So this week I picked Mindset #1, and I really enjoyed it. It's essentially the story of these college folks putting together an app to give people accessibility without data mining and all that kind of stuff. So they have this dream to protect people's privacy, but also offer services, which is kind of a contradiction if you're talking about technology in general.
Right.
But I really love it. The art is beautiful. I think John Pearson does a really nice job with the artwork that's in there. But essentially they think that maybe they've discovered mind control. So I'm kind of interested to see where the story goes. I think that's one of the things I love about comics is just the versatility of storytelling. Yeah. I think non-comic people often just associate it with, well, that's just superhero related stuff. And the reality, for those of us who read it, know there's so much more to the comic world. So I'm really excited to see where this story goes.
Very cool.
Over to you, Patrick.
Yeah, so I picked a superhero book. I did Iron Man and Hellcat Annual #1. And this is more of a Patsy Walker story. And if you haven't been reading Christopher Cantwell's run on Iron Man, you absolutely should, because it's fantastic. I thought that Marvel was having a really hard time figuring out what they wanted to do with Tony, and the whole weird, you're not really a Stark, and this was your brother, but you're it just got so convoluted, and it's
Cantwell brought him back to basics, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Cantwell also did Obi-Wan, so also good stuff.
I'm really liking the work that
we're talking about Iron Man now
is cranking out, but back to the basics is back to the core of the character. I would put it as still stretching that character. That whole adventure out in space and all of that was really interesting and fun, and the pacing was good. This is a really nice segue into whatever else is going to be happening with them, because Tony and Patsy had some relationship development stuff happening, and it ended in a place that I felt okay, but now what? And I hate, you guys are giving me a hard time about this when I picked this book. I hate annuals because they do them so bad. Normally they're an anthology, and it's a bunch of stories that nobody cares about, and it's it's kind of a testing ground for new writers and artists, I think, is kind of what they've been using them for. And there's just no real point for the reader, right? They're just kind of throwing stuff out there to see what sticks, and as a reader that can be frustrating. But it's just the one story. It is directly tied into everything that just happened in Iron Man. It may not be essential to read the next Iron Man issue, but I feel like this definitely lays groundwork for where they're going with these characters. So, on to you, Corey.
All right. I picked a superhero book also. Well, super villain. Super villain. So Deathstroke Inc. This is a really good jumping on point. We're fresh out of the event with Batman, and this is telling the origin of Deathstroke, which I don't know if anyone really is to a certain extent.
I don't think they've ever given it its own devoted storyline, but it's been rehashed a couple times.
Sure. So this is the year one story. Ed Brisson is writing it. He's a solid writer. He's Canadian too. Probably likes maple syrup. But this is just going over that year one origin for Deathstroke. And like I said, it's a great jumping on point. First issue of the new story arc. The art is fantastic, and I've been enjoying the book. It's kind of been going like this. The beginning of the run was really good, and then there were a couple kind of down issues. And then we got into that Deathstroke event, and it picked back up. But yeah, 2 thumbs way up. But
I honestly didn't read any one of the books that you guys picked this week, and now I'm very curious about all of them.
Deathstroke's good.
Yeah?
I've really been liking this book. Like I said, there were a couple issues that were kind of meh, but I think that's all we have for today. So make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at PulpCG. And come in at 11 a.m. for comic books. Because what's better on a Wednesday than new comic books?
Yeah, beautiful day. Big wall full of fresh comic books. Doesn't get any better than that.
Beautiful books. So, yeah, we'll see you then.
I was probably always going to be a bespectacled lad.